montage of black and white. They put it right in the middle and said, hey, we're funky, we're doing it. And it worked.
I mean, there was Donna Summer and Casey and the Sunshine Band and people like that were making these, like, kind of fun dance records.
That's the way, I like it. That's the way,
You know, so that was the disco that was starting before Fever came out.
There was a guy in New York, Nick Cohen, who did an article called Tribal Rights of a Saturday Night, which our manager, Robert Stigwood, saw, thought it was a great idea to do something about kids dancing on a Saturday night. He called us up and said, would we write the soundtrack to it? We said we were writing a new studio album. We have, however, got 5 songs finished. And he took those without even seeing the movie.
The thing that used to make me the maddest about disco was the fact that secretly I thought Saturday Night Fever was one of the best albums ever made. Those guys were such great songwriters. I wish they would have been horrible, because then I could have really hated them, but I really liked the Bee Gees. Every time it would come on, if I were alone in the car, I'd go, yeah, I like that, that's all right, you know.
We had entered a zone that we had no knowledge about and no experience in. And that is to be just selling records like there's no tomorrow. I mean, there was...
for weeks and weeks.
For weeks at a time.
A week.
So it was quite a shock to us. At the peak that we had in the 70s, there was radio stations that were actually refusing to play our records on the weekends. You were actually going to have a Bee Gees free weekend. And what makes us angry is this was never afforded any other artist. There was a lot of people who actually weren't disco acts, thought that they'd better make a disco record because it was so universal at that point that to not make a disco record was a mistake. So everybody was making disco records. What happens is, at the end of every decade, the whole business says, well, everyone from the last decade, step over to the left, and everyone that wants to be big in the new decade, come on in.